back in the day, when we first developed uh, machines, okay, machines that helped us do work. Um, they were very simple. Okay, these were machines like hammers, like wheelbarrows, and they were essentially just very simple tools. Okay, they didn't have any power, and they certainly didn't have any intelligence about it. Right. So robots are a whole new generation of things that help us do work. Hi, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Is that Sarah? Excellent. I mean, it must be Lucy. Welcome to the stream. So before we go any further, we have a few people on the stream today. This is going to be the first time for a lot of people to do robotics. Okay, so we are just going to go through some of the very basics just to get everyone warmed up and to understand why we are doing what we are doing. And then at the very end, I am going to give you a bit of a home assignment, okay? It is something that you're going to need to do at home before our next lesson, okay? So we're having this lesson for 10 weeks, okay? So every week we're going to have one lesson. But then in between the lessons, I'm going to say, okay, Lucy, or okay, Ryan, got to make sure that we pay attention and then do this activity, okay? So we are doing some activities after the lesson as well, in between the lessons, okay? But during the lesson, I'm also going to be talking to you guys. So if you have a question, then make sure you push the raise hand button, okay, under the screen. And you can also move my head around, okay? If I'm in the way of something on the screen, you can move my head around, okay? You can't move it around right now because I'm covering the full screen. But sometimes when I'm showing you something on the computer, you'll be able to move my head around just so that I don't cover up the things you want to talk, you want to see, okay? So, so in between the lessons, we're going to give you a home assignment, which will be a lot of fun because then you get to use your Lego to build your machine. And then during the lesson, I'll ask you to open your iPad or open your computer to link up and connect to the robot, okay? And I'll teach you exactly how we do that in a moment, okay? Before we do that, who wants to raise their hand right now and tell me, why do we need to have robots? Why do we need to have robots? And before we do that, I'm going to go open up the screen like this. And then I want to see, yes, anybody wants to raise their hand and tell me why we need robots in the first place. I mean, is it just for looks or just for fun? Why do we want to have robots? Yes, is that Lucy or Charlotte? Make sure you press the unmute button on your microphone.
Okay.
Oh, whoops, sorry. That's Ryan, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Ryan.
It's because it's too dangerous for robots. It's too dangerous for humans to go into space, and robots usually go into space to find out more information for robots.
Yeah, can go into danger, right? Because if I send a robot to do something dangerous, that means that we keep a human safe, right? Because humans don't have to go and do the same job. Excellent, Ryan. How about one more? Can you give us another reason why we have robots?
So they can help people.
So they can help people. Fantastic, Ryan. I think these are some really really good reasons. They can go help people, okay? What about Lucy? Can you raise your hand? I want to see if you can raise your hand just to make sure that you can raise your hand, Lucy. Is that okay? Fair enough. Very good, Lucy. Now, Lucy, I'm going to press a button to let you talk, okay? So we want to see if you can speak on the microphone for me. Just see if you can talk to me, okay? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, Lucy. I wasn't sure if you know how to work this. So Lucy, can you give me a reason why we would build a robot?
Um, we would build a robot because it can clean the house.
You can clean the house. Excellent. And you know why we use robots to clean the house, right, Lucy? It's because robots never get bored, right? They never get bored and they never get tired of doing things that we don't like to do. Some humans don't like to clean the house. A lot of humans are great at cleaning houses, but some humans, when they don't feel like cleaning the house, when they want to spend their time doing other things like watching TV, then the robot can do things that are boring for us, all right? Do things that are boring, okay? And because robots can do things that are boring, they're very useful for some very important missions, okay? Did you know that humans have sent robots into space, right? We send robots that travel 9.5 years to Pluto to take a photo and then send it back to us at Earth, okay? Imagine if I had to put you guys onto a rocket ship. I gave you a camera and I said, okay, Ryan, you go and wait in this rocket ship for 9.5 years. Or I say, Lucy, you stick on this rocket for 9.5 years. I'll give you some food and some drawing paper and maybe an iPad. And then I'll send you on a rocket ship all the way to Pluto. And then you take a photo for us. Okay, but that's not a really good idea, isn't it? Because it's not a very fun trip. You'll spend 9.5 years cramped in a spaceship, and you'll probably not have 9.5 years worth of food, and you definitely won't have enough computer games and movies to keep you occupied. That's why a robot is really important in order to make sure that they keep people out of harm's way. And they also help us do something that is boring or repetitive so that we don't have to do it ourselves, okay? So today we are going to learn how to build a very basic robot. We're going to build a robot that we can give basic commands to, okay? But before we do that, let's have a look at our robotics kit, okay? So this isn't going to be what the camera looks like all the time. It's just for this lesson, okay? Normally the camera is going to be much closer, but today's going to be a really easy lesson, so you don't need to have such a close view of the camera. So I just want to show you what this kit looks like. Okay, so this over here, this is called the element card. Okay, so the element card is going to show you all the pieces inside your robotics kit. Okay, and they're all separated into the sections where you will find those parts. Okay, so if you find a piece that is in the wrong section, who wants to tell me what we should do? Ryan, do you want to say something? Ryan? No, just had his hand.
I want to tell you about something about the robots.
Oh,
Robots
okay.
can robots do not have a human's brain, so they can go longer cleaning, but human brains don't really long enough. Not
Okay.
really.
That's great. That is exactly right, and that's why we have robots doing a lot of the chores. Like we want them to do more chores for us, right? Excellent work,
Yeah.
Ryan. So, all right. So, as I was saying before, if you see a piece or if you accidentally fling a piece into the wrong compartment, make sure you pick it up and you put it back into the right compartment. Okay. So at the top here we have a very special kind of piece. Who knows what these pieces are called? Who wants to put their hand up and tell me what these pieces are called? Because part of learning about robotics is understanding the technical language that goes with the robotics. Okay, so these parts here, does anyone want to put their hand up? Anyone want to put their hand up? It starts with P, these parts. This is P. No? So these parts are called plates, okay? And you know that these are called plates because they are very nice and thin, okay? They're kind of like the plates that you eat off, right? So these are called plates, okay? And next to it, these are much thicker pieces, and these are called bricks, okay? These are called bricks. So just for today, we're going to learn about plates and bricks, and then we know the difference between them, okay? But as we go along, we're going to learn the names of all the different pieces, okay? And we're going to try and get used to calling these pieces by their names, just so that when we're talking about them, when you're talking about them with your friends or with your teammates or with your teachers, then we'll know what pieces you're talking about, okay? So we got plates on one side, and then right next to it is our bricks, okay? And then inside your kit, they're in these corresponding pockets, okay? All right, so these are all the pieces on the top of your kit, right? But what about these pieces on the side of your element card? Pardon me. So these pieces on the side of your element card, these are all found underneath the kit. So if you want, you can pick the tray up really carefully, okay? So you hope, preferably use two hands. So you can go grab two hands and then you pick up the middle part like this. And then you'll see that underneath your other parts, okay? So we've got wheels and we've got motors and we've got some other electronic parts, okay? Excellent. Any questions about the kit so far? Anyone got any questions about the kit? Raise your hand if you want to ask a question about a kit. Otherwise, we'll keep going. Yes.
How do we get this little bit of the kit to connect to the iPad?
Ah, very good. So we are going to go through that in a few seconds. Okay, we'll go through that during the lesson. I'll teach you how to connect it to the iPad. Is your hub being charged? Has it been charging?
No.
No. Okay. Well, while we're waiting, before we get into the iPad stuff, maybe you can plug your charger and plug it into the brick for now. Is that okay, Lucy?
Yeah, I'm doing
Yep,
that.
no
now.
problem, no worries. Yeah, we are definitely going to go through and teach you how to connect it up with the iPad very soon, okay? But after we go through the kit and also some of the software, okay? So if we don't have any more questions about the kit, then I'll go through the software, okay? All right, so in my email to mum and dad, I told you guys to download Wedo 2, okay? So if you have Wedo 2 on your iPad or on your computer, then this is what it should look like, okay? So when you start Wedo 2, on the computer, this is the screen that it starts off with, okay? If you see this screen, then you can press the X on the top right-hand corner. You see this X on the top right-hand corner? And like I said, if my head is blocking the way, make sure you can move my head around, okay? You can just put your finger on the top of my head and drag it around so that I'm not covering what you need to see. All right, so we press this button on the top right, this X button, and then we can close the window. And now this is what you should see. This should be very similar to what you see on the iPad, okay? Uh, so raise your hand if this is exactly what you're seeing right now on your computer or on your iPad. Just raise your hand just so that I know that you have it done. Good, Ryan, that's good. What about Lucy? Lucy, you got it? Okay, got it. Fantastic. If you, I'll just lower your hands. If you have questions, then you can raise your hand again, or you can type it out to me in the Q&A button below, okay? So if you don't feel like talking, you can type it out underneath as well. But if this is what you're seeing, then great job. This is exactly what we need, okay? Rightio. So when we start a project, usually what we do is we go into classroom projects, Okay, we have classroom projects where my pointer is right now. We're going to click on this one because we're going to start off with a very simple classroom project, and we'll do it together, okay? So click on classroom projects together. And then what I want to show you is a cooling fan, which is this one in the middle, okay? So a lot of people have done cooling fan for before, but what we're going to do is we're going to go through and show a lot of our new students how to do this, just so that from the next week and the weeks afterwards, we can do more different projects, okay? So you see this cooling fan in the middle here? We press it, okay? We press cooling fan. And then this is going to give you a go button on the bottom right. And then we press the go button. Okay, press the go button. Now put your hand up if you are stuck, if you have no idea, if you're not seeing the cooling fan and you're lost, okay? Put your hand up if you need me to stop and I will stop for you. Right, so everyone's looking okay. If you have a question, make sure you raise your hand, okay? So what we are going to do right now, we are going to build the cooling fan from the instructions. But then after that, I'm going to show you how to do some coding exercises, okay? And then if we have time at the end, after we've done all the coding exercises and after you've built the cooling fan, then I'll give you a bit of a challenge, and then you can make your cooling fan very unique, okay? You can decorate your cooling fan, okay? But first, we need to do exactly what I say, and then you can do your own thing, okay? And then, of course, raise your hand if you have a question, okay? All right, so we're going to go do the cooling fan together. So we press the next button. And then you see the start building button happen. Oh, whoops, my screen has disappeared. Yeah. Here we are. Okay. So we were here. We saw the thermometer, and then you press the next button, which is on this arrow right here. Press the next button. And then you'll have a start building button down here. Okay. Start building. So you press start building, and then it will come up with some instructions, okay? So this isn't the first page of the instructions. This is showing you how it's going to look like. If you want to see the instructions, you have to press this little arrow, okay? So press the little arrow so that we see the instructions, okay? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to go through these instructions. I'm going to go through slowly as well. And then once you have finished building, you just raise your hand, or if you have a problem, you can also raise your hand as well, okay? So we go press the next button here, and now we can start building, okay? So first step here, we're going to start with our Smart Hub, which is what I have here in the middle. And then we're going to look for this 4x2 blue brick, okay? Remember the difference between bricks and plates? Plates are really nice and flat. These are bricks, which are a little bit thicker, okay? Now we're gonna make sure we put it one step above the green button, okay? One module above the green button. Otherwise, if we cover up the green button on the Smart Hub, then it's going to cause us all sorts of problems, okay? Just so that we can also see a little bit clearly. Right. All right. And then we add two more bricks, okay? We need a orangish yellow brick on top. And then another blue brick. Okay. What I'll do is I'm going to all right. Okay, so next. Now, this is a part called a motor, okay? So a motor is one of the main outputs of our robot, okay? So this motor, whoa. So you can see this motor has a little red part in the front here. So this part here is to fit an axle, okay? And it means that it can, once you add it, you can spin it around around to the left, clockwise or anti-clockwise, okay? You can spin either one direction or another. And then this cable can be plugged into any of the ports, okay? It doesn't matter if it goes to the left one or to the right one. You can just plug it into whatever the instructions say. But it doesn't make a difference. If you accidentally plugged it into the wrong one, that will still work perfectly fine. I'm just going to all right. Be a lot sharper now. Right. So we attach this onto our model and then plug it into the side of the port. And then we get this this I think 8x2 plate. So this green plate. So there's something special about this green plate. Okay, this is not like the normal plates because it has holes in it. Okay, so we grab one of these pieces. I'm actually going to turn off my background because I just realized that when I hold up a green piece, it turns invisible. So that's not going to be very useful for people. Okay. All right. So we have these green plates. Go to the next part. And then we find a second one of these and make a cross. Okay, just like that. Just like a little helicopter blade. Then we go next. Now we find this axle that is attached to a connector. And you see how we have holes in the middle of our cross? Well, we can now add this axle attached to a connector down the middle as well. So here, attach it, and then we'll plug it in straight down the middle, like that. Again, if anyone is stuck or if anyone has any questions, make sure you raise your hand, okay? All right, it's looking good. Now, all we have to do is plug it into the motor's axle, and that is our cooling fan. And then it says, good job. Okay. So raise your hand if you have finished and or if you have any questions, okay? Raise your hand if you have finished or if you have any questions. Cool. All right, Lucy, just checking, do you have a question or did you finish already?
Finish.
Finish, fantastic. Was it easy?
It was easy and fun.
Excellent. All right, we are going to keep going on. What about Ryan? Have you finished as well? Hello, Ryan.
And I'm running.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, that is great because now we are going to go through and talk about this model. Okay. So what we have done is we have done a very simple model. Okay. So this is the smart hub down the bottom, and because it's so heavy, it's going to be the base of our little cooling fan. And then this cable is actually transferring two things to the motor. One is power. Okay, so it's sending electricity to the motor, so that gives it power to do something. But then it's also sending instructions to the motor as well. Okay, so it's telling it instructions like how fast to turn and what direction to turn and how long to turn for. Okay, so these are the instructions that the smart hub is going to give to your motor. Okay, does that make sense? So, but before the smart hub can give instructions to the motor, we are going to have to give some instructions to the smart hub. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so let's continue on. So you see the screen here, right? This is what we ended up with. So what we need to do, if you are on iPad and if you are or computer or iPad, and if you see the screen that says good job, I want you to press the X up the top left here that closes it, okay? Press the X to close it. If you don't have the X, then look for a close button. We click it to close it. Raise your hand if you have any trouble, okay? So after you've closed it, we press the right arrow here. The arrow that's facing the right-hand side. That's that way, okay? That way. Facing that way. Press that to go to the next step. Okay, so now we are going to connect it with your computer. Now watch this. It's going to, when we press the connect button, a screen is going to pop up and it's going to tell you some instructions, okay? It's going to tell you to push the button, the green button. So don't push it straight away. Push it only when the screen tells you to push it, okay? And then if it pops up on the screen, then it's going to, then you'll need to press it on the screen as well, okay? So just watch me do it first, okay? So watch me do it first. Are you ready? Now watch me do this first because I don't want you to get confused, all right? All right, watching carefully. I press connect. And then it says choose a smart hub down here. And then it's giving me a symbol that says to press this green button. So watch this, I'm gonna press it. And then you see it pop up over here. You have to press it as soon as it pops up. And then after you've pressed it, after it pops up, it's going to say thumbs up, you have connected, okay? So, and then on your smart hub, it should have a blue light, okay? So I want you to do that now and then raise your hand if you have connected or if you have a problem, okay? Raise your hand if you've connected or if you have a problem. How are we doing? I hope we are okay. I know sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. So put your hand up if you have connected or if you have a problem with connecting, and then we'll try to fix it. Try to be a little bit quieter because I know sometimes people can have difficulty connecting. It can be a very annoying problem, but hopefully everybody's going to be okay. Right, we got someone with a hand up. I'll just see if you're okay. Is that Lucy?
Yes, I've tried to connect it and I've tried to connect it at home and it never lets me connect. It just doesn't work and I've got Bluetooth on.
Are you on the iPad?
Yes.
You're on the iPad. So the iPad has its Bluetooth on.
Yes.
And then when you press the green button, does it show on your iPad? Does it show on that list? You know how I have this list
No.
on the side? It doesn't show, but does it beep?
No. I don't get to see the little thing on the side.
You don't see this little list on the side,
No.
right? But when you press the green button on your Smart Hub, does it flash white light?
Yeah.
And it makes a little beeping sound, right?
It flashes blue.
It flashes
It
blue,
makes beeping.
but it doesn't show on your iPad, does it?
No.
That can be a little hassle. On your iPad, do you think you can turn off your iPad and turn it on again?
Sure.
And we'll try connecting again, okay? Do you know what is the model? Do you remember do you know what the model of your iPad is? Do you know if it's an iPad 3 or iPad 4 or iPad mini?
It's an iPad mini.
It's an iPad mini? Okay. iPad mini. We haven't got an iPad mini here to test neither. So let's restart it. So turn it off and then turn it on again, and then try it again, and then raise your hand before you try it next, and then walk me through it. Okay?
Yeah.
I
think.
Okay. I'll just turn your microphone off for a second. What was that?
Should I try it on my mum's iPad maybe?
Maybe try it. Make sure you install Wedo 2 on that iPad as well, and then have a go.
Yeah, Mum says we have it on there.
Okay, let's try it on that as well.
Okay.
And then raise your hand if and let me know how you go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Ryan, how are you doing? Have you got it connected, Ryan? How are you doing, Ryan?
Yeah, I've done it.
You've got it connected? Cool. Excellent.
Running.
Is it running?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. So Ryan, well, while we're trying to get some other students connected, what I want you to do is I want you to decorate your fan for a bit, okay? Before we do more coding, okay? I want you can do some decorations on your fan while we're waiting for others to connect as well. Okay?
Do you want to show them? Okay. Ask if you can show them.
Can we show you?
I think you'll need to take a photo and then send it to me, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay. I'll just see. I'll just have a look, see if Lucy's got it this time. How you doing, Lucy?
It works on my mum's iPad.
Oh, okay. It might just be something on the iPad that was a bit different, but we'll continue on your mum's iPad for the rest of the lesson. Is that okay? Yep. Fantastic. Okay. So, like I said, now make sure let's look back onto the screen, okay? Look at me again. So, like I said, what we need to do is we need to now give instructions to the Smart Hub so that it can give the same instructions to the motor, okay? And for people to do that, we need to do something called coding, okay? That's what coding is, okay? It's what is we are telling machines how to do things. But we can't just say, hey, machine, I want you to spin the motor, right? I can't say that to a machine because the machine doesn't understand English, just like we understand English, right? So we need to talk in a language that the machine understands. And for Wedo 2, it's much easier for us to learn it because all the pictures, all of the language is going to be represented with pictures. Okay, so let's stop what you're doing with the model at the moment. Let's put it down, make sure it's connected. Let's put it down onto the side. And then I want you to look on the screen because this is what I want to show you. Okay. All right, so we have our model connected. That's great. We've pressed the button that says back to project. Okay, if you have a button that says back to project, press back to project. Otherwise, you press this X button up the top. Okay, but press back to project. And then you go back here. It should say everything's connected, nice and green. Okay, nice and green. Then we press the next button. The next button is the button that's pointing this way, remember? Pointing this way. Press this button at the top here. Now, it's going to tell you how to do some very simple dragging code, okay? So just like how that hand is showing you, I want you to move your finger over this side so that we drag this onto our play sign here. This triangle sign is the play button. We drag this motor with the needle, that is the motor power symbol, all the way to the side here. And then that's going to be what we do, okay? So we drag it all the way up here to the side like this. And then if you tap on the play button now, it's going to move all the code at the same time, okay? So now when you press the play button, your fan should do this, okay? So if we press the play button, the fan should start to move. Okay? Is it working? And then if we wanted to stop it, then all we have to do is press the red square on the bottom right. Okay? So this red square over here. This red square over here. So we press it and that stops the fan. Okay? Raise your hand if it worked for you guys. Yep, that's good. So Ryan's is working and Lucy's is working. Fantastic. So congratulations. This is your first ever robot code, but we're not going to stop there, okay? We're going to keep on doing something very cool, okay? So we're going, like I said, at the end of the lesson, I'll let you guys decorate your fan and also make it do some cool things, okay? But let's just have a look back onto my screen for a second, okay? All right, let's have a look at my fan. And have a look at this number here, okay? This number represents the engine power. Because this is, you remember how our engine looks like? It looks exactly like this picture, right? And then it's got this needle, which means that this is changing the engine power. So if I wanted to spin it slower, then I have to change this number, okay? But what number can I change it to? I can change it to 1. If I change it to 1, it would be as slow as it can go, okay? If I change it to 0, then it's not going to go at all. But if I change it to 1, I go click on it, change it to 1, click outside, and then click on the play button again, you're going to see that it's going to rotate much slower. And you can try that. You can try rotating it really slowly now. Okay? So this is more like, it's like a windmill in a wind farm. It's like slowly spinning away, right? Now we can, if you ever want to stop your robot, make sure you remember the emergency stop button is this red square down the bottom right. Now, if we want to change it faster, then all we have to do is change this to 10, okay? What if I change it to 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000? Is it going to go faster if I change it right to a really big number? Well, it's not, okay? It's not actually going to get faster. 10 is the biggest number that you can plug into here. And if you try to plug in an even bigger number, it's going to be exactly the same as 10, okay? So if I change it to 10, this is as fast as this windmill is going to go, okay? So I press the play button. Whoa, going super fast now. Okay. So you can experiment with that. Change its speed, and you can see that 10 is the fastest it will go. It doesn't matter if you put in 1,000,000 here, it's going to go just as fast as 10, okay? So keep that in mind. Make sure we don't put numbers here that are too big, okay? We want to keep it between 1 and 10. Okay? Right, yeah. I'm sure everybody's having fun changing the speed. But now we're going to learn how to change the motor's direction as well. Okay, are you ready to learn how to change its direction? Well, there's 2 blocks here that show you how to change the motor's direction. Okay, and it's this block here, which is anti-clockwise, and this block here, which is to spin the motor clockwise. Okay, so if I put in anti-clockwise after I've set the speed, so I'm telling the motor, you set your speed to 10 and set the direction to anti-clockwise, and then I press go, it's going to spin anti-clockwise, just like the picture says. I think mine is spinning a bit too fast for the camera, so I'll just change mine to be slower. Okay, now it's spinning anti-clockwise, just like how we planned it. Right? And now, what if I want to change it to spin clockwise? Well, then I'm going to have to get rid of this piece of code, all right? So I click on it and I drag it away from the code back into the dock down the bottom. And then I drag a new piece up. This one is to change it to move clockwise. Okay, and then I press play. Okay, now it's going to spin the other direction. Okay, so you can have a little play, have a little go, see if you can make it change faster, slower, and make it move to the left or make it move to the right. And now, let's have a look. And make sure you raise your hand if you have a question, okay? But feel free to keep going and testing different speeds and directions if you want to, okay? But before we do anything more, let's have another look back over here. Let's have another look back on the screen. So now the final thing I want to teach you for the motor is how long to spin it for. And to change how long we spin it for, we use this one, this timer, okay? So this timer is going to show you to spin it for 1 count, okay? So it only spins a little bit. But if I press play, you see, it only spins for a little bit, for about 1 second. And I can also change it for a bigger number. So this timer is not like the speed button. This one can go to a really big number if you want to. If you go 100 seconds, then it's going to spin for 100 seconds, okay? So it's going to spin for 100 seconds. But you can still stop it early by pressing the stop button. Okay. If I change it to spin for 5 seconds, then it's only going to spin for 5 seconds, and then it will stop by itself. Okay? How are we doing? Going good? All right. And what I want to do is, at the end of the lesson, what we want to do is, well, I want you to see if you can decorate your fan, okay? So I want you to make the blades longer or make it taller, or maybe add some plants or some flowers on it. But another thing that we can do to decorate it is to change the color of this light, okay? If you want to change the color of this light, then make sure you're paying attention, okay? I'll show you how to change the color of this light. That way we can make it shine really different colors and make it really, really colorful, okay? So before I change the color of my light, I'm going to make my fan a little bit taller. I'm going to make it a little bit higher. I'm going to add some more bricks to it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some extensions to my windmill blade so that it's a little bit wider. Okay, maybe something like this, be a little bit more fancy. And now I'm going to show you how to change the color of the light. Okay. Now I wanted to go through and spin for, let's say 10 seconds. Oops. Actually, I won't tell it how long to spin for because I want it to keep on spinning forever, okay? Until I press the stop button. But to change the color of the light, all we have to do is we drag one of these, okay? So this is going to change the color of the light. I'm going to make it yellow. And then what if I wanted to flash a different color as well? Oh, I want to go yellow and then I want to go green. Yeah, so you change the color of the light based on the numbers that pop up down the bottom, and you can change the light to different colors. Okay, and then maybe red, like that. And you're going to notice that it's going to flash by really, really quickly. So if I press play, it's going to flash those three colors really, really quickly. Okay, but then it stops flashing. So if I want to keep flashing some colors constantly, we need to make it do something called a loop. Okay, I know there's a lot of things we're learning about today. Okay, so we've learned about how to move the motor and how to change the light. Now, like, just to finish it off, we're going to show you how to make it so that it flashes the colors over and over and over again, not stop. Just so that we can have a very nicely decorated little desk fan. Whoops, almost broke mine. Okay, all right, let's try this. So all we have to do is down the bottom, you can actually drag the blocks so that you make them go to the side. And then over here, you see there is something called a loop. Okay. And this loop is something we can add to cover the whole bit of code like this. Or we can actually make it cover just a portion of the code. But I'll show you what the difference is. So if you drag the loop and then you make it surround all your code, and this is what happens. So you press play, it will flash different colors, and then it will keep on going and flashing different colors, okay? Are you seeing the different colors?